Hello everyone. Multi-agent applications are becoming more popular nowadays, and the reason is they can handle the complex task efficiently. To support this, Microsoft has launched Azure AI Agent Service, using which you can create the different AI agents which can do function calling, web search, or integration with the different Azure services. So now if you'll use the Microsoft AutoGen 0.4 along with the Azure AI Agent Service, you can create an intelligent AI powered application easier than before. So in this video, I'll show how to build a multi-agent stock analysis system that will help you decide whether to invest in a stock or not. So this is the architecture of the stock analysis multi-agent application, where the user will provide inputs. So the user will ask whether they should invest in a specific stock of a company or not. In this application, I'll be using 5 different agents, or the tools you can call them as. And all of these agents will use the Bing search, which is Azure grounded with Bing search. So first will be the stock price trend, who will check the stock price and see the trends for different months. Then the news analysis agent will look out for the news related to that stock. Then market sentiment will look out for any social media messages or what's going in the market right now. Analyst report if there are any articles which are published for different analysis on that stock. And finally the expert opinion, if someone with credibility has spoken or given an expert opinion on that, so it will look using the Bing search, and these agents will provide these inputs. However, these agents will be used by the different assistants. So stock trend assistant will use the stock price trend agent. Stock news will use the news analysis. However, there will be stock sentiment, which will use the 3 different agents: market sentiment, analyst report, and expert opinion. And all of these assistant will be messaging within the thread. And all these messages will be provided to the decision assistant, who will do the analysis on what they have provided and finally provide us the decision whether we should invest in a stock or not. And once that is done, we'll get a response. So now I'll log into Azure portal and start deploying the resources first, and then we'll use the Python code to deploy this application. I'm logged into Azure portal now, and I'll start with the deployment of Azure AI Foundry. So let's go to Azure AI Foundry, create a new hub. I'll create a new resource group for this, RG Hub, and I'll use the region as East US2. So I'll name it as Shalendar Hub 01, which will create an OpenAI service for me. And it'll create a storage account which is connected to the hub if you want to save any data there. And all the credentials of the storage account will be saved in the key vault. We'll keep it public for this project, and it'll use the system assigned managed identity and credential based access. So review and create the hub. So the hub is deployed now. Let's go to resource. We are in Azure AI Hub, and launch Azure AI Foundry for this. And in AI Foundry, we'll first create a project, and once the project is created, we'll deploy our model, which will be GPT-4o model. So we are in Azure AI Foundry. Let's create a new project, and I'll use the default name and create. Project is created now. So now, as you can see, we have Azure OpenAI service also deployed. And here is the service endpoint with the API key. And we have the project connection string, which we'll use in our code. I'll show you later. Now on the left side, if we'll go to the deployment and models, or the easy way I would recommend is go to the playgrounds, go to the assistant playground. So when you create a new deployment using the assistant playground, you only see the models which are supported. So here you see only 4 models. These are only models which are supported. So now if you click on confirm, there is one catch here. You have to choose a specific version which is supported by Azure AI Agent Service. And for that, you can look for the documentation, supported AI models in Azure AI Agent Service. So it's 13.5.2024 or 6.8.2024. Let's see. 13.5 or 6.8. Let's use this one. I'll increase the tokens and deploy. So now we have deployed the GPT-4o model which supports the Azure AI agent service. So our model is ready, but in this project, I'm going to use the Bing search. So let's go to Azure portal again, look for Bing resources. And there is a third option, grounding with Bing search. Click here. I'll use the same resource group, RG Hub, Shalender Bing 01, and grounding with Bing search. I understood, and review and create. It'll run the final validation and create. So it will create the Bing search resource. Once this resource is created, the next step will be to connect this Bing search to Azure AI Hub. So the Bing search is deployed now. Now let's connect to Azure AI Foundry. Go to the Management Center, Connected Resources, go to the New Connection, scroll down, there is an option in Other Types, API Key. So now first we have to provide the API endpoint, which you can find from here. If we'll go to the Azure AI Agent Service documentation and go to how to or the grounding with Bing search. There, if you'll scroll down, you will see the API. And the API endpoint is api.bing.microsoft.com. Just copy it here. Copy this endpoint. You have to get the key, resource management, keys, and copy this key. Go back. I'll name it as Bing. By default, it will be shared to all the projects. You can limit that too, but for now, I'm just adding the connection. So now connection is added. That means it will be available to our project. So using the project connection string, now we can do the grounding with Bing search. So our resources are created. So now the next step is to create a multi-agent Python application which uses AutoGen 0.4 agent chat along with Azure AI agent service. I have already created the code where we are importing a lot of packages like AutoGen agent chat, Azure identity, Azure AI projects, and loading the environment variable. For loading the environment variable, we need .env file where we have to provide all the environment variables. Now for the other packages, I have provided requirements.txt file where we are installing different packages like AutoGen agent chat, AutoGen extension for Azure, python.env for environment variable, Azure identity, and Azure AI projects for Azure AI agent service. So once these will be installed, then we'll be able to use our application. So I'll quickly go through the application. So first we are importing all this. Then we are loading the environment variables, initializing the environment variables. Then we are making connection with Azure OpenAI, same with the Azure AI project, and Bing search connection we are doing. So now we are using the Bing search with all the different tools, or you can call them the agents. So these are the different tools, stock price tool, where we are defining its role and which model it uses along with the Bing search. This model checks the real-time stock prices for the last few months. Then the thread is created and all the messages with it. Now AutoGen 0.4 supports the asynchronous agents. So that's the reason all the tools or agents are defined in an asynchronous way. And similar way, news analysis tool is defined. Then the market sentiment tool, and all the 5 tools are defined. And then these tools are provided what are the different agent functions they have. So all these are defined, and using the assistant, these tools are being used with the system message. So we have defined what the system message is, stock price agent, what it should do, and news agent, and then the other sentiment agent, which uses the 3 different tools and what its system message is. And finally, the decision agent, which will make the decision after reviewing all the details provided by other agents or the assistants. And then it will provide the response as decision made, which is provided as the termination. So either there will be 15 different messages or the decision made. And once that is done, an automatically round robin group chat of the AutoGen will be terminated. And finally, we have defined the task, which is analyze the stock trends, news, sentiments for specific stock, and then decide whether to invest or not. And the stock name is Tesla. So the user just have to provide the name of the stock, and then the communication between the different agents will work and will provide you a decision whether you should invest or not. Now let's open the terminal. And first thing first, when you're deploying any Python application, you should be using the virtual environment so that there is no dependency problem. So Python -m virtual environment. So this will create a virtual environment VANV folder, and then we have to activate the virtual environment. So the virtual environment is created. So let's activate it. VENV scripts activate, and it's activated now. Now let's install all the required dependencies. Install -r requirements.txt. So it's installing all the required packages, and once that is done, we'll run our code. And I'll upload this code in GitHub, and you can find the link in the description of this video. And all the packages are installed. So before running the code, we forgot one important step, providing the environment variables. So let's fill this option. So first, let's start with the project connection string. So let's go to Azure AI Foundry and overview, and you will see the connection string. So project connection string. Now the API key. Go back. And this is the API key. The Bing connection name was Bing when we created a connection. Model deployment name is GPT-4o, GPT-4o, and model API version, which we can get it from here. So if we'll go to the models, GPT-4o. So this is the model version, and Azure endpoint is this one. So it's an OpenAI endpoint, and save it. Now let's run our application. Python app.py. So there is one model which is missing, which is part of the AutoGen extension. So let's add this in the requirements.txt. Tick token. Let's save it, and let's run the installation again. And it's installed. So let's run our application again. Okay, now the reason why we got this error is because we installed the extension for Azure only, but it requires OpenAI too. So let's run the installation again. So now it has installed the AutoGen extension for the OpenAI 2, which is the requirement. So let's run again, and hopefully this time it should be through. Perfect. And the user message is analyze the stock trends. So now the tool is triggered, which is fetching the stock prices for Tesla. Perfect. Because this tool was triggered by the agent, so it has provided the message, all the details, what is the stock price, and then the news agent will finding the different news about the Tesla. What is the Tesla stock performance, supercharger, and all Cybertruck, all those launches. And now three different tools are triggered for market sentiment, analyst report, and expert opinion. And the message will be provided by the sentiment agent here. and it's providing different sources too. And finally, we have our decision agent, which is providing a summary of analyst rating, growth challenges, strategic advantages, and all those. It's providing the current price and conclusion. Final decision is invest. So the decision is made and then the termination happened. So based on the different messages provided by the different agents or the assistants, the final assistant is reviewing everything and then providing us the final decision. So now we have an application which can help us to make a decision on whether we should invest in a specific stock or not based on the different parameters. Not just if the stock price is going up, let's invest. So it's doing the market research. But this is just for information purpose. I would highly recommend to do your own research before using this application and invest your money. And that's all I wanted to show in this video. I hope you liked it. Please like and subscribe. Thank you so much.